Okay, so lesson 5, chapter 5. This is called simplifying expressions. This is a big deal, you guys, because you're going to use this a lot. Like this whole chapter, you're going to use all the time in algebra. And you know, it's going to become to the point where it's just a habit, and you're just going to do it. Okay? Which we're going to practice this today, and we'll see. It might take us a little practice tomorrow. We'll just see how it goes today. I think you guys probably be okay, but I just want to make sure that we get this down because this is something you use all the time. So some vocab I have for you. Okay, there's quite a bit of vocab, so just bear with me. After this, there's not very much. So the first thing I have is a term. Now let's just do term first, and then I'm going to explain what I have below here, okay? So a term is each part of the algebraic expression, and it's kind of like when we talked about sequences. Remember, it was each little part of the sequence? It's the same thing here, only we're talking about expressions today instead of sequences. Okay, so term each part of the algebraic expression. Now let me show you. This is the stuff you're going to see today. It's going to be big, long stuff like this. Okay, that's the algebraic expression we're going to simplify. Okay, so before I start anything, if I look here, all of these things are terms. Every single one of them are terms. Does that make sense? And what I do is I always take the sign in front, and I will explain why that works too. See how I circled the number and then the sign in front? I do that on purpose. Okay. So if I would ask you what a term is here, what would you say? What's a term in my expression? 2x. Very good. What's another term in this expression, Jacob? 3. What's another term? 8. And x, right? That's my last term. So terms are everything in the expression. Then my next vocab, if I get here, just want to move you. That's all I want to do. There it is. Okay, so then coefficient. Coefficient is the number part. So the number part that's with the variable. The number part of the term that contains the variable. So for an example, that 2 is the coefficient of 2x. And I'll talk about that. If you get it written down, I'll talk about it more. So coefficient is if there's something with a variable, it's the number that's with that variable. Are you guys writing constant too? Just write constant, and then I'll explain that as well at the same time. So coefficients are the numbers with the variable. So we already said 2 is a coefficient, right? What's the other coefficient in this problem? Jasmine? Okay, it's the number with the variable though. What's with that variable? What do you always put with a lonely variable? 1. So what's the other coefficient up here? 1. So if I had something like this, I'm just going to write something out. What are my coefficients in this problem? 3 and 2. Don't say 3x and 2x. It's just the number, right? So up here, these coefficients would be 3 and 2. A constant is any number without the variable. So that's basically everything left over then. So up here, my constants are 8 and 3. So a constant is anything up there without a variable. Simple so far? Okay, so let me do one here quick. Let's do, what are my coefficients up here? Henry? Okay, 6 and 2. What are my constants up here? Ryan? 4 and 6. What are my terms up here? What's a term that's up here? Ryan? Everything else, 6x4, 2x6, right? Those are my terms. So is everybody catching what I'm doing today? Because you're going to have to do that. They're going to give you something, and then they're going to make you list what everything is. Okay? So, oops. Okay, like terms, that's the second thing I'm going to talk about. Actually, like the fourth. Like terms are things that have the same variable and the same exponent. They have to look exactly the same. They have to look exactly the same. And we're not going to deal with anything that's squared today, so don't even worry about the exponent part. We're just going to worry about the same variable today. Don't worry. Same variable. Simplifying. Simplifying, you don't have to write the whole thing. You can just write combining the like terms if you want. If you want to write combining the like terms, that to me is the easiest thing to say. Simplifying is combining what is like. And we're going to do plenty of examples of this. Nope, nope, nothing that I scratched out. Just combining the like terms. Simplifying, just combining. That's all you need right here. Yes. Okay, so a like term has the same variable, or that look the same. So like if I look up here, is there anything that has an x squared in it up here? Okay, so there's nothing that's like that. But is there anything else that has an x behind it up here? Yeah, so there's 3, so those two would be considered like terms. Those are the two things that I can put together, okay? And then let's say if I would have this, or could I put those things together then? Like -1 and 3? Yep, I can put those together. I can combine those. So those are also considered like terms, believe it or not, because I can combine those. So like terms are anything that you can put together, anything that looks the same, but it has to have the same variable. Like if one of these had a b behind it, I can't put them together because they're not the same. Remember, a variable, I can put any number in for a variable, but say if this is a 5 and that's a 3, I can't put them together. Okay, I have to have the same variable to make them like. And then simplifying, what I'm going to do is that with those like terms, I'm going to combine them and make them as small as possible, so my answer is as small as possible. It's kind of like what we did in distributive property the other day. Remember, we put together everything as small as possible, and we couldn't answer the ones with the B's and the D's and the C's. Same thing today. You aren't going to be able to answer these today. Okay? All right, let's do some practice. Reminder, always put a 1 in front of the variable. Don't forget that. You can write it if you want. If you can remember it, fine, but today it's a big deal. Okay, so you have to make sure anytime you have a lonely variable, a 1 has to go in front of it. Otherwise, you're going to forget about something in the problem. Trust me. And you know what a lonely variable is? Like if I just would have an A, guess what can go in front of it? A 1. But if there's already something in front of it, it's not lonely, so I don't have to put a 1 with it. Okay? So anytime it's by itself, I want you to stick a 1 in front of that. All right. Ready to give some a whirl? Okay, move on. All right, so this is what's going to happen. First of all, they're going to give you an equation or an expression that looks like this, and they want you to identify the terms, the coefficients, and the constants in the expression. The first thing I want you to do, though, is I want you to take one color of your pen. So take a different color pen, and I want you to look at this, and I want you to circle all the like terms with one color. So I'm going to start with N. Are there other things up here that have N's in them? Yes? So I'm going to take one color. And here's the most important part, you guys. When you circle, you need, oh my gosh. When you circle, you need to take the sign that's also in front. Because this is going to help you determine if you need to add or subtract. Remember how we said like terms, you can combine them? Well, sometimes you add them together and sometimes you subtract them. It depends what sign is there. So, well, which one was I not supposed to circle up here? Obviously this one. Circling all the ones with the ends. Do you see that? It'll get easier in a second, I promise. It'll get easier down here. I'm going to circle 5n and minus 2n and plus n. I'm going to leave that 3 out. Because is he like the other ones? No. Okay, so what about that lonely variable? What I'm going to do with him? Yeah, let's put a 1 in front of him. Okay, so now what happens is this. Let's look through here and identify the terms. Well, the terms are what? The terms would be 5n. Okay, and if I have a minus 2n, guess what that turns into? A negative. So my next term is a negative 2n. And then my next term would be a negative 3. And then my next term is you could do 1n or just an n. Do you see how if I have a plus sign in the front, I don't really need to put a sign, but if you have a negative, you need to put that sign. So then the like terms, oops. Yep. See how I took that sign in front? I have to take that sign in front with it. Okay? It does mean minus, but it also can turn into a negative once in a while. Okay? So my like terms, what are the ones that are like up here? 5n, minus 2n, and 1n. Those are my like ones. And then let's see, coefficients, right? This guy a little bit. Know what my coefficients are up here? 5, negative 2, and 1. I have to take that sign with what's in front. And then what's the last part? Constants? Oh, that's easy. What's my only constant up here? Negative 3. Have to take, if you want to take another one and circle that one, you can another color. It'll get easier, trust me, it'll get easier. And then you're done for this one. Because it doesn't ask you to do anything else, it just tells you to identify all the parts of it. Okay, should we do another one? Let's do another one together. You want me to wait until you write all this down? -2 and a -3. Well, what happened is we basically took this whole thing apart. 5n, and then you can't just leave signs. That's the thing. We can't just take 2n and leave subtraction there because there's nothing else there. Yeah, it will make sense. So what happened is we just basically took this whole thing apart. That's what happened. There's 4 different pieces. 5n's a piece, -2n's a piece, -3's a piece, and then +1n's a piece. Okay, so let's go down to this next one. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to take 2 different colors again, and I'm going to circle my like terms. So I have 4p minus 7 plus 6p plus 10. So I know 4p and 10 and plus 6p are like terms. I always take the sign with it in front. My next one will be my 2 blues are like terms then. You're probably like, why is she circling them? It'll make more sense when we start combining them together. Okay, so my red ones are like terms, my blues are like terms, that's easy. But what are the terms up here? What if I asked you what the terms were, what would you tell me? 4p would be a term. What else? Minus 7 would be a term. Plus 6p, do you got to put plus 6p? No. You can just put 6p. Anytime we ever put a sign in front is when it's a negative sign, and then we have 10. And then my like terms, that's easy. 4p and 6p, and what else? -7 and 10. See how they're all like terms? Those are the ones I put together if I could. Coefficients. What are my coefficients? Anybody got a guess? 4 and 6. Nice job. Nice work. Yes, very good. My constants. Very good, Jacob. Oh, that's 4p and. I'm sorry, that's my and sign. It looks like a plus sign. I'm sorry. 4p and 6p, and then -7 and 10. Those are my like terms. Okay, so does everybody understand the different parts of this? Okay, so that's a plus. That's a plus. So now, what else are we doing? Dun, dun, dun. Questions so far? Does anybody have any questions on finding all these things? It makes it easy to circle, and I'm going to show you why it's going to make it easy to circle here. Oops. Alright, we're going to start simple. Oops. So the first one I want you to write on your notebook is this one. 7a plus 4a. Here, let me just tell you. Coefficients would be your numbers with your variable. So 4 and 6. And then your, oh, that's your coefficients. Your constants would be your -7 and 10. Yep, your constants would be your -7 and 10. Alright, so what we're going to do is I'm going to look at here and I'm going to say, okay, I have two 7a and I have 4a. Well, if I have 4a plus 7a, how many a's do I have? I have 11 a's, don't I? So 11a would be my answer for that one. That's it. I can't go any farther. No. Now let me show you why. Okay? So let's say a is like 6. Okay? Let's say a is 6. This is how my problem would look then. How many times am I really multiplying 6? I'm doing it twice, but how many times am I multiplying by 6 here? 7 times. How many times am I multiplying 6 here? 4. So altogether, how many times am I really multiplying 6? 11. That's why it's not squared. Okay, does that make sense? I'm not taking a times a times a 7 times. Then it would be a to the 7th power. We're not doing that. We're just saying, okay, if I'm going to multiply 6 7 times here, and I'm going to multiply 6 4 times here, how many times am I really multiplying by 6? 11 times. That's why it's not squared. Good question. Okay, so let's go to this one next. If you're like me, I like to circle everything. Let's see, everything like, so those two are like. This one's kind of by itself. And the reason why I do this in different colors is so I can see, like, okay, I need to combine all the greens together. Okay, I need to combine all the blues together. That makes it easy for me, because when we get to something longer, and my gosh, we can make them, they can be 10 long sometimes. So now, look at this one. It says 4x minus 2x. How many x's am I going to have then? Minus 2x? See, it says 4x minus 2x. That sign in front tells you exactly what you're going to do. Okay? So if this is 4x minus 2x, it's 2x. And then what can I do with 9? I really can't do anything. I can't combine it with anything. Plus 9. That's it. X minus 2. I'm minusing them now. Okay? I know, it just takes practice. That's why we're going to do this probably a few days. Okay, let's try this one. Let's look at this one. 8b plus b plus 1. So I'm going to circle my b's. Oh, and I'm going to put a 1 in front of that guy. I wish my marker was actually, like, not acting up today. And this one. And I'm going to put a 1 in front of that b. So if I have 8 b's and I have 1 more b, how many b's do I got? 9. And then I'm not adding anything to that, so plus 1. That's it. Okay, so 2y plus 8y plus 1 plus 9. So I'm going to circle my y's. I'm going to circle these two. Because I'm going to put the blues together, and I'm going to put the reds together. So this says 2x, then whatever sign's in front, so 2x plus 8y. Be 10y. And then 1 plus 9 would be 10. So I need you to watch this part after you're done. Am I going too fast? No? Okay, so did you see how I did 8y, or plus 2y is 10y? Then I have, see this is a positive 1, plus 9. What's a positive 1 plus 9? 10. Is it a positive 10? Yes. So that's my sign then. Positive 10. We'll see. How are we doing so far? Are we getting it? Are we somewhat getting it? It takes practice, so well, don't worry. I know. Can I go to the next one? Okay. All right, so let's look at this one now. 3x plus 4x plus x minus 1. So what are the things we're going to combine? We're going to combine all the x's. Ah, makes me angry. I should orientate it. We're a ways off. Put a 1 in front of there. So then I have 3x plus 4x plus 1x. How many x's is that? 8x? And then do I have anything I can combine with the 1? No, so then it just comes down minus 1. This one, why don't you try this one by yourself? I'm going to take this out. Try that one by yourself. 4x minus x plus 5. 4x minus x plus 5. So what are you thinking? Somebody tell me who I have not heard from. Tell me what you think for this one. Jacob. 3x plus 5. Nice job. You guys agree? Okay, can we try a few more here? No, I don't want to do that yet. I want to do this. Negative 6x plus 3x minus 2. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to circle everything. It takes some thinking. It takes practice. So if you are struggling, do not worry because we are going to practice this a lot. Okay, so now look at here. This is negative 6x plus 3x. So you got to think to your negative rules. Negative 6x plus 3x. What's that? Negative 3x minus 2. Negative 3x minus 2. So careful with the negative signs. I'm going to do one more here for you quick. If I have negative 9 plus 2x plus 4. So I have this that I can put together, and I can have this that I can put together. Okay, quick. Just hold on. Negative 9. Do I have anything I can put together with this? Okay, so that's going to just stay as 2x. What about this, though? I have negative 9 plus 4. What's negative 9 plus 4? Negative 5. So then it's minus 5 on the end.